I have no problem with moving on to another job at another company. I've quit plenty of jobs. I've been fired from jobs before. I'm at this point where I know that there's too many companies out there to be pressed and worried about one.
It's time to start the show and educate the people. Oh. It's time to help you see just how you can be financially free with Cleo.
Welcome back to another episode of Financially Free with Cleo podcast. I am your host, Cleo Childress, and this is a show to help you live financially free in your own way. And today I'm going to be talking about keeping up with the cost of living. That is a super hot topic, has been a hot topic for a while, and it's definitely not going anywhere because the cost of living is going to continue to rise even more for years to come. And I know it can be frustrating when you are just trying to live a good life and work and just do all the things that you need to do and live well. And it can get frustrating when what you're earning is not enough to pay for just the basic living expenses, especially when it comes to renting or buying a home. It can seem so frustrating when the prices are going up, but your income isn't going up as faster. So one of the main things that I know that we all can do is to just make more money. Now, I know that sounds easier said than done, right? It's not always easy to, but I want to ask you, when was the last time that you tried to increase your income? And what did you do? How did you do it? I think sometimes we immediately say, oh, it's not easy for everyone, or it's hard, which is true. It can be difficult for a lot of us. But ask yourself personally, when was the last time you increased your income and how did you do it? How did you try to do it? When did you do it? Ask yourself these questions because from my experience, I've realized that when I stopped focusing on complaining about the cost of living and focusing on ways I can make more money so I can pay for these increases and some, life was much better. It wasn't as stressful. Well, I'm from Nashville, Tennessee, and I know the cost of living is continuing to rise so quick there. But my experience living in Miami, living in Orlando, Florida, living in DC, living in Denver, Colorado, Dallas-Fort Worth area, like every place that I've lived, the cost of living was continuing to rise every single time. And when I would meet people that are originally from these cities and they would talk about how things used to cost, I realized it doesn't matter where you move. Yes, you can relocate from one state to another because it may be cheaper than another state, but overall, there's nowhere you can go really that the cost of living won't continue to rise at some type of rate. Eventually it could slow down, it could stay at the same amount for a period of time, but we are in a season where it's not going to just drastically go back to what it used to be. So instead of focusing on that, let's figure out how we can make more money. In your current job, will your employer pay you more money in your same position? Are you at the cap? Are you at the maximum amount you can earn at your current position? And if you're not sure, you need to go ask your manager, your director, your boss, supervisor, whoever. You need to have a conversation with them and say, look, based on my experience, based on this position, you want to talk about a raise or a bonus. Can you earn more doing the same job? Just start there. Can you do the same job? Do you need to apply for a different job within the same company to make more? Is that an option? Do you need to go into a whole different department? You can actually do different positions within your same department and make more money. But are you already at the max there? Can you go to a different department and use some of those same skills that can kind of transfer over to a different department where you can still enjoy a job and excel there? Ask yourself that. If your current job ain't talking about nothing, it's time to talk to another company. Is there another company you can work at doing the same type of job or doing a different type of job. There's nothing wrong with job hopping if you feel that you're trying to get a pay and benefits that you feel that you deserve based on your experience. The times have passed where we stay on jobs for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, right? If you do stay on a job that long, nothing's wrong with that either. But I want you to know you don't have to stay in a job because you feel like you have to because you just started, or you feel like you have to because you've been there for 2 or 3, 4 or 5 years. No. Is this company serving you the way you need to be served? Now, you got to make sure that you're showing up and doing the work too for that company, because you can't just go and say, I want more money from you, and you're not delivering. If you're coming in late, barely doing what you're supposed to do, not doing anything extra, they got to come with something to negotiate with. This is a negotiation. You want more time off. You want more pay. You want more flexibility with your work so you can enjoy the life you want to enjoy. But you can't just say, give me more money, company, and you don't have nothing to give them a reason to consider it. So start thinking about what you offer to the company, what you've been doing, what you can do. So that way, when you go and ask for more money, you got some stuff to throw at them to say, hey, look, I know this is what I make right now. I know this is my job description right now, but look, this is what I can do. This is how much I feel I should make based on all these things. This is what I can bring to the table. And if they're not interested, you got to make a decision. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, if you're still struggling managing your money, you need to join me in the Daily Money Habits text community. Sometimes when we're trying to level up in our finances, we can get overwhelmed and not do anything at all. And then other times we start and we fall off track real quick. And I want to help you stay focused. So in the Daily Money Habits text community, you will get a text from me every single day with a financial affirmation to help empower you and help push you forward through this journey. And the second thing is an action step, me telling you exactly what you need to do every single day to reach those money goals. And you'll also get monthly financial workshops so you can continue on this education and helping you take action on all of this information that you are receiving. So text Money Habits, all caps, to 615-813-4827. It is a paid community. It's $37 a month. But hey, we got to invest in ourselves, right? If we want to see real results. So I will see you in the Daily Money Habits text community. Are you going to go to another company that's going to pay you what you want? So negotiating your pay with your current employer or negotiating your pay with a new company. Or if you're content with your company right now, you can think about something outside of your regular job. Can you start a business on a part-time or full-time basis? And when you think about starting a business, it can require, a lot of your time and money up front. But think of something that you can do that takes the least amount of money and time to get started. There's so many things to do out there with starting a side business that may not require a whole lot of your time or a whole lot of money up front. Sometimes you can have a low cost startup, but it may take a lot of time. You may have to put in a lot of work after your regular job for a period of time. And then eventually it can take less time and bring in lots more money. So you want to think about that too. When you're trying to bring in more money, start with your current job first if you are working a job. Or think about a business you can start that can bring a lot of money. Like, what do you see out there that people are needing? Even though the cost of living is going up, we are all still spending money. We are all still spending money. Just like when the pandemic first started and people were talking about people struggling with money and scared about finances, but people were still spending money. Like, do you know how much Amazon was making during the pandemic? Walmart, Costco, like, people were struggling a lot. That was all over the news about people struggling, people unemployed, losing their jobs, but people were still spending money. There's, a lot of reasons behind that, but it doesn't matter what's going on. People are still going to spend money on what they want to spend on. People are still going to get their hair done. People are still going to get the grass cut. People are still going to get things done. People are going to still need services and products even during the struggle. So think about your city, your community. What are people needing? Think about people just around the world. What can you do online, digitally, that you can service others to make some money? Nowadays, it's just so many ways to make money. And sometimes it can feel frustrating because you hear people say, oh, you can just make money online. And it may not be that simple, but you just have to be strategic and do some research and figure out, what are you good at? What can you do with the skills you already have? That way you don't really have to learn nothing new if you don't have to. Yes, you're continuing to educate yourself, but you don't have to, learn a whole new industry if you don't have to or need to. So just remember, keeping up with the cost of living, that top of the list is making more money. Making more money. That's one of the major things you're going to have to do is, how can I make more money? Yes, you can cut back on some expenses too, but you're going to soon realize that you need more money more than you need to cut back on spending. You need both, but you're definitely going to have way more money to keep up with the cost of living. And when I say keep up, do we really keep up? I guess it just depends on our lifestyle. Like me, I feel like I live a very minimal lifestyle. Like, I like to travel, but I don't spend a whole lot of money on stuff. And if you do spend a lot of money on stuff, that's okay, if you got it. But I just feel like I live very minimal lifestyle. So I don't need a whole lot of money to live off of. And a whole lot of money could mean different things to different people, right? But I just don't want you to feel like you should be stressed and worried about cost of living. Let it go up. Let the cost of living keep rising. Because you know what? I'm going to keep making money, and I'm going to keep making more money, and I'm going to keep finding ways to make more money so that I'm not struggling as the cost of living continues to rise. Just like that rises, there are services and products that people still need, that people are still paying for, even when they're struggling. Even people who are unemployed, they still spending money. So let's just think about you and what you spend your money on. You're paying somebody for a product or service. Somebody's getting paid off of you spending money. There are somebody out there that could spend money with you, in a business or at your job. Your employer, start there. Start with your current job and see where the money is, because it's there. The money is there. And if it's not at that company, the money is there for you at another company somewhere else. I have no problem with moving on to another job at another company. I've quit plenty of jobs. I've been fired from jobs before. I'm at this point where I know that there's too many companies out there to be pressed and worried about one. And I know sometimes we may have jobs that we love. We may like the people we work with, but business is business and cost of living is going up. So if that company you work for ain't talking about nothing, meaning they're not trying to pay you more, especially if you deserve it, you put in the work and you should be able to earn more, then it's time to move on to another company, because there's so many great companies out there that are willing to pay you double and triple what you're already making for the same job. Join me on the first Sunday of every single month for a money yoga session. And you're probably wondering, what is this money yoga stuff, Cleo? Well, it is a vinyasa-style yoga class mixed with financial empowerment, and it's designed to help you relax, reset, and prep for the work weeks ahead. And if we nurture our mind and our bodies, we can live financially free and make better financial decisions. There will be Q&A at the end, so bring your money questions. You can register at cleoyogafinance.com/money-yoga. Sometimes you don't realize it. Years ago, I didn't realize that until another coworker told me that left the company I was working for at the time. When she told me, Cleo, you can actually make 4 times this doing the same job. You know that, right, Cleo? She was like, Cleo, do you know you can do the same work and get 4 times your current salary? I was like, what? I was like, huh? Like, you don't believe it, especially if you're not used to making a certain amount of money. You don't even believe that you can literally be paid the same job. That's why it takes talking with people, meeting new people, and being vocal about your goals. Tell your manager what you're looking for. Like, if you don't tell them what you want, you may not always get what you want, but at least they know you ain't playing around. And if they see you gone one day, they gonna know why. So don't be afraid to tell these companies how much you want to make, because a lot of times they have the budget for it. But if you only ask or accept what they're going to give you, then that's just what they're going to give you. But if you say no, if they want to give you, 50,000 and you want 90, ask for 90,000 and be able to tell them why you deserve 90,000. Be able to give some specific examples of your work and your experience and your skills. This cost of living stressed me out for years in the past, but now I don't worry about it. I don't stress about it. Is my life perfect? No, it's not. But I just know that my life is not going to be great worrying about prices going up and cost of living going up. What I should focus on, I focus my energy on making more money. It's just simple. Like, I just can't sit here and worry about cost of living going up because it's going to keep going up. There's nothing I can do to control it right now. And I want to focus on something I know I can control, which is my income with companies that I work with or income in my business. So take some time this week to sit here and evaluate your job experience, your situation with your current job, and see, can they pay you more with what you're already doing? And if not, let's look at some other companies and let's negotiate a higher salary or a higher, pay rate if you're getting paid per hour. And don't underestimate and don't just focus on the salary and the, rate per hour. You can negotiate other benefits. You can negotiate your time off, how much time off you have. You can negotiate other benefits, like your health insurance plans, or you can negotiate other types of, time off you can have. Maybe you want to go volunteer and do some work, and you can negotiate that type of time. You can negotiate when you plan to move up to the next position and the next salary level in your company. Maybe you can negotiate like, hey, I'm going to be in this role for at least a year. Then I want to explore the next opportunity in this company so I can have more experience and higher pay. Like, don't just go on the salary or the rate per hour. No, look at all the benefits and negotiate all of that. Think about things you can be reimbursed for, just think about everything. Do you want to work in the office? Would you rather work at home? So you have to think about all these different things. Do you want a job that you travel for work, that you're paid to travel? Like, think about all these things that you desire, that you want for your life, and put it in writing and present it. You'll be surprised what your job might say yes to. And if the current job says no, there's a company out there that will give you that yes. Trust me. So don't worry about cost of living going up. Let's focus on making more money. And you can make more money and not necessarily have to put in a whole lot of more time. I know that can be sometimes a fear or a frustration, is that, if I make more money, I got to spend more time. You don't. You can still work the same amount of hours and get way more pay. But it just starts with you asking for it, putting it out there. Sometimes we don't get it because we just simply don't ask. And I'm encouraging you to ask. So go to that job. Ask your job. Talk to your employer. Talk to your supervisor. Talk to your manager. Talk to the director. Whoever is in charge and has the authority to make that decision, that's who you need to talk to today. So don't be afraid. If you feel a little nervous about it, maybe you can practice with a friend. Maybe you can practice with a coworker, going back and forth, having that conversation. But don't spend too much time on it because you'll just keep making yourself nervous. Be bold, be confident, be okay with them saying no. Know that they might say no, but just know what you plan to do if they do say no. So thank you so much for tuning into this week's topic, because I just had to let y'all know how I felt about that cost of living going up. And I hope you'll tune into the show next week for another edition of Financially Free with Cleo podcast. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
You can be financially free with Cleo.